Hi, Claire, Lauren, great to have you here. We'll just give everyone the obligatory 90 seconds to all hop on. Hi, Mandy. Natalie, great to have you here as well. I'll just get an emoji thumbs up from someone that they can see the screen, the slides that are being shared. Awesome, thanks, Tom. Excitingly for today's,
it's not so written size 100% actually yeah.
Hi, Mandy. We've just got a bit of background noise coming from your screen. If I could just get you to mute, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Joe, so great to have you here as well. I'm going to wait one more minute before kicking off. Okay, great. 12:02, I think we can get started. There's a fair bit we want to run through with each of you all today. So as you will be aware, today's session is all about joining the circular economy and turning e-waste into impact. For many of you, this is the first time that we're getting to meet one another. So my name is Taylor and I lead our partnerships and marketing programs here at Trace. And one of the real privileges of my role is getting to meet with and work with some trailblazers in the reduction space. So innovative thinkers who are really putting into practice ideas around how we reduce our impact on the environment with some really powerful sustainability initiatives. And today I'm sharing the microphone with Franz from Zolo to talk all about circular economy, turning e-waste into impact, and how we can work with each of you to be able to manage your technology in a sustainable way. So unfortunately, there is a lot of old tech sitting in our cupboards. I think for many of us now, hybrid work is a reality. So that old tech is not only in office cupboards, but in cupboards here in our own homes. Sustainable disposal of this unused technology is often deprioritized. By joining today's session, we're really hoping to start a conversation that helps each of you to be proactive in the sustainable management of your tech, giving you the tools to be able to participate in the circular economy. I think this is particularly important for each of us being part of Australian businesses because Australia is actually one of the top global producers of e-waste. We sit at an estimated 22 kilograms per person per year. So that's about 1 ton of e-waste between all of us who are participating in today's session today. Now, like all of our lunch and learns here at Trace, we do want to make sure that they feel interactive. We want each of you to be a participant in the journey to not only educating ourselves on different initiatives that we can take, but also learning from one another too. I know that in this really colourful Trace community, we have businesses who are at very different stages in their sustainability journey. So I would love each of you to bring out your mobile phones if you have them handy and just scan this QR code. You'll be able to interact and join in with a couple of fun quiz questions as we move through the content today. Thanks, guys. Now, in all the work that we do here at Trace, it's about climate action. And when we talk about the climate, we are naturally talking about country. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of us meet. I know we've got people joining from Melbourne, from Sydney, from Adelaide. So I do want to make sure that we take a moment to acknowledge First Nations people and the land, the fauna, the sky, the water, all of that country and its spiritual significance. Okay, so there are three main objectives in our lunch and learn today, and ideally all three will be ticked off, and each of you can walk away with hopefully a new skill set in identifying e-waste and how to manage it through participation in the circular economy. So our first objective is to learn what the circular economy is and how to participate in it. The second objective is identifying e-waste at work and how to manage it. And then the third one is launching your own e-waste management plan at work. I think for each of you being here at the Trace Lunch and Learn session and part of our community, measuring your carbon footprint really is the first step. And what we can measure, we can manage. And being able to manage the way that you dispose of technology in your workplace is a key part of that plan. Now, I'm very excited to introduce you all to a peer, not only of Trace, but myself as well, Franz, who is the founder of Zolo. And I would love to hand over the microphone to you, Franz, to be able to not only introduce this gorgeous face we have on the screen, but Zolo and why you founded it.
Of course. Hey, everyone. Thanks for dialing in. I hope everyone's having great lunches right now. Before I begin the presentation, I think I'm going to be one of those guys where I do a shameless plug of my fur baby. This is Lorenzo. He's Mawai. And if you scan the QR code, you'll be able to see his Instagram. So greatly appreciate that. So if we go on to the next slide. So as what Taylor said, I lead Zolo. So I'm one of the co-founders and currently doing a CEO role there. In terms of what we do, we help businesses manage their e-waste in a way that supports their KPIs and makes a real impact on people and planet. So for example, when a company upgrades their IT equipment, that being laptops, PCs, monitor, anything in an office environment. So Zolo will come in and help IT teams in taking ownership of the tech recycling process in a secure and sustainable way. That's essentially how we bridge IT and sustainability teams. What we also do as well is we help brands turn their old technology into new opportunities of growth. So how we typically do that is we would recover value from their old devices, freeing up funds to invest in newer technology to help their business grow. To kind of translate that in corporate terms, so we help IT teams justify the case for an upgrade or to spend money by demonstrating the return that they'll get so that the CFOs would approve the funds to purchase it. So we buy the technology promoting the circular economy. So in terms of we're underpinned, as you all know, I think we're in light of a lot of emphasis on data security. So we are proud to champion that. And I think that's the most important bit in our industry and also from a circular economy standpoint as well, because of the data that we kind of own and protect from a customer standpoint. And, we're proud advocates by continuing to drive sustainability as a company. And 3 years in, we're proud to also have cultivated a purpose-led partnerships roster with some of Australia's leading brands. I think for us, we're in this to empower them to be a force for good. So yeah, that's Zolo as a whole. Again, if you can scan that, that'll lead onto the website. But I think we're here today to talk about circular economy, which is a good segue to the next slide, I believe. We didn't rehearse this, or maybe we did, or maybe Maybelline. Maybe next slide, Taylor.
Yeah, awesome. So thanks so much for that introduction, Franz. And I think for each of you who are on the call here today is about getting the basics right around how to manage e-waste in the office, and to also be able to give you an insight into a couple of these buzzwords that we not only see covered off in the media, but also in the climate management space for corporate offices. I wanted to start with circular economy to give you a little bit more information on what it really means. I think our current state of economic production is linear. So we take materials from the earth, we make products from them, and then we eventually throw them away. The circular economy is really looking to disrupt that and put the planet first. So the circular economy is based on reusing materials and regenerating the environment. And that itself is a circular process to maximize the life cycle of a product. Now, I felt like this image here really demonstrated the way that the disruption is hoping to change the process and the way that it runs. You'll see here on the left-hand side a visualization of that linearity of raw material, production, use to disposal. We've been living in the recycling economy, wherein we've identified the need to be able to reuse products to maximize their life cycle. And I think the next iteration of that mindset is circular, where we are minimizing the amount that goes to landfill to be able to see materials extracted, reused, repurposed, to be able to achieve other goals, either for a business or for society. Now, this is where the quiz is going to kick off. Don't worry, it won't be onerous. We've got about 4 questions over the next 20 minutes. So I encourage you, if you can, just to log in here and you'll pop up there in that right-hand corner as a person participating. I'm hoping somebody can break the ice and quickly join in. Oh, thanks, Lauren. And Lily, oh, thanks, guys. I won't hold here for too long, so we won't. Thanks so much for joining. It makes such a difference. Awesome. As we move through the quiz, I'm hoping that we will get a few more participants taking place. The first question I wanted to pose is, which Australian city was the first to implement a circular economy strategy? As I said, it really is one of those buzzwords. So I wonder if we can identify the city that chose it first. So it was actually Melbourne. And what I've got here on the next slide is Joe, number 1. Love to see it. What you'll see here is what their targets are in implementing a circular economy strategy. You'll see that they're looking to divert 90% of their waste from landfill, which is a hugely ambitious target, but certainly something that the circular economy can power for both a city and a business. They're also looking to avoid greenhouse gas emissions in the process of waste, and also a 20% reduction in household waste production. Now, as we both know, and I alluded to before, hybrid work means that the waste that we're producing in our homes and in our offices are now quite analogous and similar, both in size and in type. Now, I've got one more question here. It's a true or false. The 10-second timer makes it a little more high pressure, but has Australia banned the export of e-waste to developing countries as part of its circular economy efforts? Oh, we got a 50-50 split from the 2 people fast enough to click through. And the answer is true. So we have banned the export of e-waste to developing countries as part of our circular economy efforts. There are caveats to that ban, particularly around the types of materials and the form in which e-waste can be recycled. And the sustainability team here at Trace will have a couple of materials after today that we can share with you all to go a little bit deeper. I think that's a really good segue now to e-waste, what it is, how to identify it, and what it means for each of us in our office places. E-waste is essentially unwanted or unused electronics, and they really are one of the fastest growing types of waste around the world. It's a broad term, as Franz mentioned before, for any kind of electronic product in an office. So usually something with a plug or a battery. That might be your iPhone and your iPhone charger. It might be your modem, your Wi-Fi. We could even call them e-products because they are very often unused as opposed to unusable. And I think that's a really key definition on participation in the circular economy is if something is broken and completely unusable, recycling is your next best step. But if something is simply unused, there are options available to a business, whether it's refurbishment, it might be reselling. And I think Franz has really identified the ability for technology to be repurposed in many ways. I wonder, Franz, if you could talk to that refurb, resell, reuse mission that Zolo has and the different ways that you take e-waste and turn it into something impactful.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's piggybacking from the circular economy component that you mentioned earlier as well. In terms of Zolo's recycling process, when it comes to e-waste, we operate on a circular economy model, where our aim is to give old tech new life through refurbishing and also recovering valuable parts from old tech and using them to create new commodities as well. So part of the initiatives that what we do, say, for example, we collect old technology from a business, we refurbish it and give it new life. We typically put the technology back in circulation, meaning that we sell it, but we mainly sell it to small businesses and NFPs, providing them with accessible and affordable options for them to be able to purchase tech, essentially without breaking bank as well. I think from an e-waste standpoint, I think IT teams will be the main generator of e-waste simply because of the natures of their role. But that doesn't make them the bad guys or the villains, because, you know, IT teams are actually accountable for driving a productive and high performing workforce through technology. And I personally would advocate for having the latest and the greatest tech, not because it's better business for Zolo, but it means that, you know, tech innovation unlocks opportunities for growth and progress. You know, if you're running a SaaS company, your engineers would need the latest technology to be able to build game-winning products. So I think one of the problems that we're solving from an e-waste front is we identify that not everyone needs the latest and the greatest technology. So we cater and create a platform for them to be able to access those devices in a more cost-effective manner. And at the same time, we provide a solution for brands to dispose of their e-waste in a way that's better for people and planet. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the people and planet piece is something that really resonates with a lot of the community here at Trace. We often call Trace the E in ESG, but there are many reduction initiatives as well that can tick off on those social elements. So being conscious of our impact on other aspects of the economy, in particular not-for-profits. And I know that Zolo have been powering businesses on both the E and the S. So I've got 2 more quiz questions. Thank you to the 8 participants in the quiz. Which of the following can be recycled from e-waste? Aluminium, plastic, copper, or all of the above? Awesome. We all got that one right. So 90% of a mobile phone can actually be recycled, from the aluminium casing to the copper wiring, the plastic buttons, the paper box in which it came in. 90% of a mobile phone shouldn't be ending up in landfill. We've got Naomi up at number 1. And then the final question for today, how much e-waste is produced globally each year? Now, as I said, it's around 22 kilos per person per year in Australia alone. 200 million tonnes each year. Fastest growing type of waste that we produce. Mandy, number 1, awesome. Thanks guys so much for being a part of that. It really helps for this to be an interactive session. And I think just to really cement the role that e-waste is playing in the greater impact that landfill has on our environment. In the last 5 years, e-waste quantities have risen 3 times faster than the world's population and 13% faster than the world's GDP. So I think that really speaks to the magnitude of e-waste. And while each of us may be part of a smaller business in a small corner of the world, every step that we take to minimize the amount of e-waste going into landfill is a step in the right direction. So I guess, why does this all matter for you? Why are we talking about circularity? Why are we talking about e-waste? I think to what Franz has been saying, and hopefully what we've been able to cover in the last 20 minutes, is that by integrating circularity into your electronics design and recovery strategies, your business can realize both environmental and economic benefits. And I think it speaks to the larger piece here that environmental action has economic benefits beyond simply brand or talent acquisition or customer retention. Green business really is better business. And I wanted to hand over to Franz to give an insight into a case study. So I think a lot of theory can sometimes go really uncaptured if we don't land it with a real life case study of how it's come to life. Solo's worked with a business called Deputy, which many of us here in the room would be aware of. I'd love, Franz, for you to walk us through the problem that you solved for them, how you worked together, and how e-waste management helped Deputy reach their goals.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that I want to add as well in light with this one, I think in order for, because I think we're now in a day and age where we want to implement circular economy initiatives, sustainability initiatives, or e-waste initiatives within the workplace. I think, and Deputy is a great example of this because it's such a good partnership between Zolo and them, starts with the leader. It starts with the leader and making sure that he or she is really into the mission of what we're trying to achieve. I think leaders need to be able to set the tone and lead by example in order for everyone to follow suit. So in terms of Deputy upgraded their tech recently, and they are faced with two challenges. Number one is, what are we going to do with the old technology, the old laptops sitting in our storage room? Second one is we need to be able to justify a return on investment on the old ones. So essentially how we kind of played a role in solving those challenges is we help Deputy recover value from their old devices, so allowed them to free up funds to invest in newer, better technology. So we kind of call it a revolving door approach where when you get rid of your old one, we would buy it. So, and then the funds that you get from that, you can use that to buy new ones. And it's kind of like a model that we've replicated now to other businesses as well and clients. And then the second one would be around the data security aspect of it. So our organization is certified to go through the data destruction infrastructure requirements by the government. So I think, and that's one thing that businesses are looking for now. Yes, it's great that you are sustainable. It's amazing that you're doing something good for the environment and whatnot. But at the same time, we got to protect our data. You can't put a dollar value against data, and e-waste is a big culprit when it comes to data breaches and leaks. So that's one of the things that we kind of offer on the table is, first one, it's a sustainable approach. Second one, it's good for business, to Taylor's point, from a commercial and also from an environmental standpoint. And most importantly, the data aspect of it. So we provide the reports guaranteeing that data can't be retrieved. And it's all done through our infrastructure to erase data. So yeah, that's essentially kind of how we collaborated with Deputy. But yeah, I think I just want to hammer down on what brought this partnership to life is just that dedication and desire from the leaders to actually pursue the initiative, but at the same time, actually be genuine about it as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think just on that point, Franz, if I can just ask another question on the drivers to managing e-waste with a trusted partner like Zolo. There may be some Trace community members on this call who are walking away thinking, we've got a few laptops that have been sitting around, or we're looking to potentially manage our e-waste. What's sort of the first step to identifying that the time is right for a business? Is there a particular moment in a business's life cycle where e-waste management should become a priority? It'd be great to get a sense of when our customers can start to think about taking that step.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question as well. And that's something that we are solving as a company as well, because most of our clients, because as much as possible, we want to cater to everyone. So at the moment, of course, it makes sense for us commercially to focus on the bigger companies because of the volume that we receive. But we have introduced a solution for SMEs and smaller size businesses for them to be able to kickstart their e-waste initiatives. So we provide e-waste bins that can be planted in their offices. I think that's kind of like a way to I think encourage staff as well to dispose of any tech that they have from their homes. And So that's one of the key tactics that we have introduced below the line. We haven't really told everyone about it yet because we're, logistically we're still figuring it out. But I think it starts with that. I know it sounds really simple, but it starts with having a visual aid or something that you can see on a daily basis. I was like, oh, okay, I can just chuck my old laptop or old phones there. So I think that could be a key first step that everyone can actually take.
That's amazing. I love what you've said there about just having a visual reminder. I think so often climate action is one of those things that as soon as we start to think about it, we see it everywhere. So having recycling bins, having e-waste as part of potentially your all hands is a little slide notifying and reminding everyone that you've got your e-waste bin in the communal area. It might be one of those great ways to change not only behaviors, but also sentiments in the workplace. Franz, I've just got a question here from Tom around the head count of Deputy. It would be great to know, like from a size point of view, how big is Deputy, so that some of our customers can get a sense of the size of customer you work with.
Yeah, for sure. So we work with the Sydney office one. I think they have over 200, as far as I know. Not sure.
Thanks, Tom, for that question. Great. So we're coming down to the last 3 minutes of our time together, and I've just got one more slide that I'm hoping will really clarify for us what this means for each of you today and how you can join the circular economy. And I think it comes down to a whole lot of R words, which will make it really easy to remember. But the top three are to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now, I know that Franz and I may disagree on the reduce piece because Franz definitely sees top tech as being super important for high-performing IT teams. And I certainly don't want to take away from the fact that technology has become a staple in our everyday life, and having good, reliable technology is part of being able to do good business. So I think it's about being intentional about the technology that we purchase and the time at which we do it. The second one is reusing the technology that we have. As we shared earlier on in today's presentation, there really is a difference between being unused and unusable. Broken or dead technology is clearly not serving a purpose at a business, but perhaps if there's technology that's going underutilized, is that something that you can resell on Facebook Marketplace? Is that something that you can use for a social enterprise activity? Is there a local school or a local community initiative that could benefit from the technology that is sitting unused in your office? And then the third one is to recycle. So again, as we shared before, so much e-waste is being produced now in our modern world, and so much of it ends up in landfill, which is just a terrible impact on the environment, but it's also such a missed opportunity for each of our businesses to be able to participate in the circular economy. So that third one there is to recycle your unused technology through a verified partner. Now, we're so lucky to have the support of Franz and the team at Zolo. And for each of us here who are either in Sydney or in Melbourne, there are also some local government-based initiatives where you can book local pickups. There is so much information available, and the team here at Trace is very much here to support you on that journey. So where you have questions or ideas, we certainly want to be your partner in making sustainable choices for your workplace. And then 3 more R words would be repair, refurbish, and resell. I know that this is something the team at Zolo do, where they take some unusable technology and they repair it. They take some pretty sad looking technology and they refurbish it. And then also where you have technology that maybe is just beyond your business needs, you can resell it. And I think what was so awesome about the Deputy example that you gave before, Franz, is that it opens up budget and funds to do other things. Your technology is an asset, and there's no reason why that asset should have a negative impact on the environment or on each of your journeys towards a sustainable workplace. I think that takes us bang on 12:29. So I just want to open the floor for 60 seconds if we have any questions, because Franz and I are more than happy to take or answer any now or offline for later today.
Hi, I have a question. Sorry, I just put it through in the app, in the chat. I was interested in knowing if Zolo has any partnerships with charities. So if a corporate wanted to donate their e-waste, you would refurbish it and then donate in our name. to the charities?
Yeah, for sure. So yes, we do. So there's two things when it comes to approaching that. Our main charity partner is Good 360. So we do a monthly donation for them. So we do have a company goal of connecting 20 devices per month. And that goes exclusively to Good 360. And at the same time, we oftentimes collaborate with our partners in terms of where do you want to donate the tech to. So we're kind of fluid when it comes to that as well, and collaborative in terms of bringing the initiative to life.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of.
And just can I follow up on that? Sorry. Do you have partnerships in a variety of countries in the region for charitables?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
I think we have a question from, I'm so sorry, A. Hemming. I don't know your full first name, so I'm just going to say A. Hemming. Franz, have you ever declined a partnership?
That's a very good question. I feel like we haven't had the instance where we have to decline a partnership. Mind you, though, I think as a company as a whole, we're very mindful of companies using us for greenwashing purposes. And I think we're quite fortunate throughout this journey where, I think there's a saying, you are what you attract. And we continue just to kind of hold on to that. And I think with, as a brand and as a company, in terms of our values, I think we're really genuine around, the level of care that we have for people and the environment, I suppose. So we haven't, no, not yet. But when that time comes, I guess my judgment will be tested.
So true. Well, thank you all again so much for spending your lunch with us. It's such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to talk all things sustainability with each of you here today. Thank you, Franz, from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've shared and for all of the little gems that I know we'll each take away to our workplaces and to our homes. As I shared, we will be sending these materials across to each of you. So if there are any data points, any questions, any ideas you want to soundboard with all of us here at the team of Trace, we are very open to and excited to have that conversation with each of you. So have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you all next month for next month's Lunch and Learn. Thanks, Jasmine. Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Tom.